multiplayer has never been the big deal.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, in the first Doom, but it hasn't been a contender since what, 1996?
Well, it was replaced by Quake primarily.
Right, it was replaced by Quake, and then Quake was replaced by Unreal.
Didn't Doom start with multiplayer?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
It had a very crude multiplayer.
Yeah.
Why the hell there were so many processes running on the start of my computer? I need to figure out what the hell's going on with that.
Them?
I don't know, man. I wish I could help you, but yeah, it looks really generic. So
what's your generic?
Doom, the new Doom that they released at E3. So it's just everything has this piss yellow filter. You know, everything.
Because you're on Mars. You're on the Mars.
You're on the Mars, but at the same time, the original Doom was on the moons of Mars, and there was no piss yellow filter. In fact, you could fucking walk around and see grass.
They didn't have the filter. Yeah, they didn't. They barely had the ability to do 3D.
They barely had pixels. goddammit.
3 dimensions were a new thing, you know.
And they were still using fucking sprites for all the enemies and objects and shit. The only thing that was 3D was the fucking level.
That's how it should do. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Do.
Anyway,
we're recording.
Perhaps we should actually introduce ourselves and let people know why the fuck they're watching this shit.
Nobody's watching this at all. They're listening to it, seeing as how there's no visuals.
Oh, there's gonna be a visual. Maybe there's gonna be something on the YouTube page. Something.
It's gonna be part of us.
Right.
So
there's gonna be something for people to look at. Who knows?
Okay.
Either way, Splatterpunk here. I'm joined by my friend SweetSoulBro.
Hello.
Mouse.
Hey.
And LordLicorice. And
hi.
welcome to the inaugural episode of Idea Farm. So, the best way of explaining this is, pretty much everyone here are really big into tabletop games. In fact, hell, I met all of these people through tabletop games or discussion of tabletop games, or through someone who played tabletop games. So, the idea of this show is pretty simple. Every couple weeks, maybe month, we don't know if we're going to have a set schedule. We're going...
Ever.
Pardon?
I can say fuck, right?
Yeah, you can. Dude, I don't give a shit. So long as you're not throwing racial epithets, I don't give a fuck.
Fuck, motherfucker, goddamn shit, motherfucker, cock, piss, shit, fucker.
Perfect.
That sums up SweetSoulBro's personality. So, the idea of it is pretty much every time we do an episode, we're either going to talk about a homebrew game that was made by a member of the tabletop
community.
Right, tabletop community. You know, is that what you said? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I guess a homebrew community. I guess.
Right.
Are we? Yeah.
Right. It could be
like just a small crew for us.
Right. Well, we can
talk about like virals and Mr. Blue Skies shit and all that stuff.
Right. And and of course, there's always just talking tabletop games as well. Now, for homebrew stuff, it could be anything from specific settings or systems we've either read or are currently working on. It could be a whole game system. It could be a board game. It could be it could even just be
include settings and stuff?
Settings as well. It could even just be us, talking about, hey, here's a setting I made for Pathfinder or D&D or something. I know, but maybe, like, at least tabletop-wise, this is going up on my channel, so people have heard me, but they haven't heard me talk about tabletop stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we should
kind of hard to bring that in when you're playing video games all the time.
Right, exactly. Unless
if you're playing XCOM, that's pretty much the same damn thing. So.
True, but with XCOM, I can't exactly...
How you treat RPGs, yeah.
Right. Maybe. So maybe we just to start out, we go, introduce yourself, talk about what kind of tabletop games you like, what kind of rule systems you like, and any games you're currently playing. Let's start with LordLicorice.
Well, At the moment, I'm playing in a Dungeon World game, which is actually Inverse World, which is I don't know if you want to call it a splat or just like a book for Dungeon
Down
World.
is up is down.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually really fun. It might have to do with the... Say what?
I didn't even know you were playing games recently.
I know, it's weird. Usually I'll join a game and it will shrivel up and die, so... But this one's been going on for most of a year, so that's always good.
I think that's a curse for everyone in here, to be fair.
I don't play games anymore.
You just write them.
Yeah.
You just write them. And what do you... I mean, I don't know how... should you mention what you do on the side or what community you run? Or
yeah, I run SupTG, which is basically just a companion or add-on site for the traditional boards game on 4chan and by extension other chans like that. It started initially as an archive site and now is just it hosts an IRC, hosts the archive as mentioned. It hosts.
What happened to the draw chat?
That thing was out of date for years before I even set it up, and I would love to set up another one. That was amazing. But yeah, it's basically it's hosted a bunch of services for the community in general.
Yeah. We have a TeamSpeak, and technically we have a Ventrilo, but I haven't seen anybody use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I run that for a while.
Well, I think it was Lonix who made that one. He was like, well, TS3 just sucks, so why don't you just do this?
My viewers are not going to understand a single fucking thing you're talking about. Maybe TeamSpeak they'll grasp, but...
Maybe.
No.
Yeah, it's just basically a site that provides services for people who do tabletops.
Now, I can't remember, does SupTG, do they have anything to do with 1D4chan?
I have talked to the guy from 1D4chan. I knew his identity at one point and then forgot. He was actually a regular on the IRC for a while. And then I forgot, so his secret is safe with me because my memory is absolutely garbage.
Perfect security forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Hey.
You just have to pray you don't get the random thing that surges the Russian memory back.
You just yell out a name.
Yeah.
I have a superpower, photographic memory. Oh shit.
Okay, SweetSoulBro, tell us about yourself.
I don't really know where to start.
Maybe you should bring up the thing we're going to be discussing. That will be your main claim to fame.
Oh yeah. I am a pretty okay character maker, and I am the author of Ops and Tactics, the RPG, the Ops and Tactics system, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I call it OATS because it sounds nice. And
it goes well with squats.
No, nobody's gonna get that joke. Nobody's gonna get that joke.
Someone might. Someone.
And there's
gonna.
Yeah.
And if one person gets a titter out of it, that makes me feel fine.
Just awful. I guess I've also sat in on a few homebrew projects, most of which I've forgotten the names of because they kind of died. I did, however, give a small amount of help to what was that game? I don't remember. But I've sat in on a few. Giving some advice and such like that. But my primary, I guess, claim to fame is the Ops and Tactics system.
And Mouse.
And I also, hold on before I forget. I also have a law degree in D20. So
a law degree in D20.
Yeah, I'm a rules lawyer. Yes. I have a law degree.
Damn it.
That I won't lie. When I was first talking with Mouse about this, SweetSoulBro, he actually told me get SweetSoulBro involved. Why?
Yeah.
He will mercilessly critique any rule you have and make sure it works.
Yes, that is true. Because if it doesn't work, I'll point out why. I won't just say it doesn't work. I'll point out why, and in relation to what rules.
We're
going to be doing that a lot, especially with things not oats. And the reason
not my system. We need to fix.
I've already done it before, so it's like it's a 4th edition 1.25. So we've been through. This is it's been 6 years in the making. So it's not like I'm just saying this because if there's an issue, then I've probably already found it. If I hadn't found it, fucking send me an email at optiontactics.com because
I
you
know
have
it's good.
also that lab of monkeys too at Odds and Tactics.
I
on
do.
SubTG.
We have playtesters. Some of them have been around for a while. Some of them leave, like Mouse.
Aw.
Disappears like a motherfucker.
Never ask.
I feel
You
bad.
Yeah, go.
No, it's fine. Mouse, let's.
Oh.
Some of our viewers already know your degenerate ass, so.
Honestly speaking, it's like I have the worst claim to fame in this entire room. I'm a SubTG regular, and I moderate D&D OOC, whatever that fucking means. And
Like you heard the cats, what it means.
pretty much, but even then, it's like the cats don't want to be there. So
They keep logging in every day.
Yeah, they
it's
do.
like 20 people keep logging in, and then just oh yeah, about this? Step 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, and then it's like quiet for another 8 hours.
Now I know you're involved in one of my games, but what other tabletops are you currently involved in? Oh, by the way, SweetSoulBro,
pretty
what
much.
table?
Like actual playing games.
Yeah.
I haven't played a game in almost. I haven't played a game in almost. Well, okay, so I'm allegedly in a game run by Spindly, which is one of my playtesters. But one of our players' computer got kind of fucked up, and there was only 3 people in the get-go, so we're waiting for him to get his computer back together.
Yeah.
So that's on hold. The last time I've actually played a game that was more than a single session was about 9 months ago.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's probably less than 9, probably like 6 or 7, but it's been a while. I don't play games. I just write the rules for them.
That's the definition of a lawyer. I don't enjoy this thing. I enjoy the functions about it.
So yeah.
I don't mean to bust your chops, man.
It's worse off than a GM. At least the GM gets to play the game somehow.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So Mouse.
And I used to be perma GM, but then I'm not a very good
I'm still
game
waiting
master.
for that Atlanta PD game. Goddamn.
I'm not a very good game master for a large amount of people. I play intimate, small games, like 2 to 3 players tops, because I can better focus on that. You having 4 people, and I try to do that with everybody, and that's bad. So yeah.
No, I understand. For me, well, no. Oh, sorry, I fucking almost forgot Mouse.
Yeah.
What do you? I know you're in one of my
I
games.
do a little homebrew too. I'm not like completely without graces. Yeah, I've supported SSB on and off with Ops and Tactics. To give the uncomfortable adage, I'm an ideas guy mostly.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like I had a lot of projects, not many of them get done. That sort of classic problem. But when you have SSB, I just tell him the ideas. He gets something with them, or he leaves them. Completely.
Sometimes they're not good ideas. Sometimes they are. When they are good ideas, I use them. When they're not, I don't use them.
Way to admit being a leech, SweetSoulBro.
I'm not being a leech. I mean,
he's building more product than I am, so
he does not have to
Mouse's-
give me ideas. Like if he
Maybe
doesn't give me
Mouse-
ideas, that's cool too.
Maybe Mouse's ideas are just terrible. Who's to say?
Not
Yeah.
all of
Who
them are
knows?
terrible. Just some of them.
Who knows? But Mouse should burn in hell. Anyway.
Oh, I forgot one other thing. Damn it! You keep forgetting me.
What?
Shit.
You did.
Well-
I asked what games you were currently
Well,
in.
I was
other than
actually going to
mine,
say a
but-
little bit of the homebrew stuff I was doing.
Oh, yeah, go
all
ahead.
those kooky projects. On and off, I've been on my own. Basically, I've been trying to do a sort of fantasy take on the 18th century, called
Nice.
tentatively the Colonial Campaign. Not a lot of people get interested in it, but that's what I've been working on and off, and I've been basing it off the Fantasy Craft system. And so I've got a bunch of little rules there.
Nice. Well, for me, of course, I'm the idiot running this thing. That's why I'm here. I do Let's Plays as a hobby, which, if you found this, I go look at the other fucking shit I do. And as for homebrew stuff right now, I don't run anything on SubTG. I'm just one of the lurkers there who talks way too much.
You could talk a lot more, but
yeah. Oh no, I could talk a lot more, but other than that, I mean, I do some homebrewing stuff. Currently, I have one campaign setting that I'm working on for Savage Worlds called Galactic Space Police, and that's something we may discuss in a future episode. And I'm working on 2 board game ideas currently. Both of them are languishing on my hard drive. One's called Ragnarok, and the other one's called is tentatively just called Arms Dealer.
Wasn't that something else? Like, I feel like Ragnarok was a thing.
Ragna R-O-C-K is how I spelled it. I know I posted it on.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, I posted it. I posted it once on TG, and I haven't worked on it much since, and I really need to because it's just sitting in my hard drive.
Did you get a lot of that reaction out of the board?
You're always gonna get bad reaction because they're a bunch of fucking grognards.
No, I didn't get bad reaction. I just
to be fair, it's not the entire board. It's just you'll have a grognard who's like, I think somebody posted in a thread that somebody.
I better be a shitlord because
no. It's like I never heard of this. I've never read it, and I'm not going to read it because it interests me.
I know I did get a too long didn't read. I did get that. It was like
you got a too long didn't read.
Yeah.
How long was it?
The actual post, like the actual it was like maybe 3 paragraphs for a description of the setting.
You got a 3. Jesus Christ, fucking grognards. I swear to God.
I don't know. I posted the prototype for Ragnarok near on like a year ago. I've been meaning to get back to it and work on it, but the reasons why we'll discuss in a future episode. And I'm working on a prototype of a board game called Arms Dealer. Simply because I always wanted to play Lord of War as a board game. Again, something we'll discuss in a future episode.
Were you talking about being a gun dealer?
Yeah, essentially, it's International Arms Dealer, the game, is the way I like pitch it to people.
So how you deal with combat?
Has anyone told you you'd use it in GURPS yet?
No, it's a board game, though. It's a board game.
Right.
Okay, it's a board game.
Right. Which is still covered under the topic. So
game. So
now that we've wasted 20 minutes of time getting into that, maybe we should actually discuss, the main way we're doing this episode. Every episode, we are going to sit down and we're going to discuss
something.
Right, a homebrew of some type. Now, sometimes it'll be a homebrew setting. Sometimes it'll be a complete homebrew game. Sometimes it'll even just be, like, if it's a particularly light topic when we discuss it, we might even just discuss things we like to see, or maybe our perspectives on tabletop games related to his very specific thing.
I'd like to add one extra thing.
Go right ahead, pitch it.
Homebrew meta. That would be a definite topic of it.
The meta thought process of homebrew?
Yeah, right. The basic background thought. Maybe you could even do it for how to GM and stuff.
I could do that right now. If they played only D&D, I want to make something like D&D, but not like D&D. Like I want to make D&D, but insert change here. If they played,
that might be a good episode. But for now, we do have to. Would definitely be a good episode, and we'll definitely put that in the archive, though. But we don't want to. We do want to discuss your thing.
I want to say though, it would be interesting to have because D&D is basically the breakout RPG for 90% of people, next to World of Darkness, pretty much, right?
Right.
I know.
No. Cue the goth kid. Fucking never mind.
It returns back to the 90s immediately.
Right.
Life is pain.
Cue someone in the background starts playing 9 Inch Nails just a little louder.
I immediately get the fucking Blossoms Creek theme song in my head. A show I've never watched, but that didn't make it not appear in my brain. So thank you.
Is it the wait? Which one was Blossom Creek? Was that the I don't want to wait?
Yeah, that one.
For our lives to be over.
Just
God damn it! I know that song,
Yeah.
and I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right. Actually, guys, can we break for like 5 minutes? I have to use the bathroom.
All right.
It's gonna be in the stream.
No, don't turn the stream off. We can talk while you're not here.
Oh yeah. So yeah, talk about any topic for the next 5 minutes. This is not normal, people, but I've been holding this piss in since we started. So
Oh, be a trucker. Come on. You can hold it in.
no, a trucker would take a piss jug, piss in it, and throw it out the window. Rules of the road.
Rules of the road.
Be right back up.
All right. Well, to go back to that topic, you know,
We can
the
talk
breakout.
we can talk about how bad World of Darkness is.
Well, yeah, we could do that, and we could also do that whole thing of the breakout game.
It's
you know?
awful. It's an awful game. It's an awful. Okay, let me phrase that. It's got a really interesting setting, but the rules are shit.
I want to say that I think of it differently because I know you're so mechanically inclined. The funniest thing is that I get more trouble. I get more shit from people like Graph and stuff like that over liking mechanics than you do. It seems like. Do you not feel that way?
What do you mean?
Well, like, you know, you really love your mechanics. You like being.
I like shit to work.
Well, there's a little different.
Pro tip: that shit don't work.
What are we talking about? Changing breed or what?
No, I'm talking about most of the like 90. It's some of it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Contradictory.
Yes, that is the first one. The second one is most like World of Darkness. There's some. No, I'm thinking Vampire Masquerade. I'm sorry. That's
No
my
problem.
fault. That's my fault. They're very similar-ish.
Well,
World of Darkness is
that
you're
World of
right, right. So World of Darkness is the one where it's like, hey, why do we have to have rules again?
I just came in at that last bit.
Yeah, that's what World of Darkness it was.
Well,
I'm
but
thinking
you know,
Vampire Masquerade is like, oh yeah, that's right. The authors hate each other.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I would like to say though on that topic. World of Darkness is the perfect example about a setting that was in old World of Darkness. It was the most cliche, horrible fucking setting imaginable. Well, you can't really call it cliche because it set up those cliches.
It can't be cliche if it was the original.
Exactly. But it became so made fun of because of those cliches. And it didn't help that
those kids were morons a lot of times with all those things.
right.
Like, oh
Because I mean, I hope people who are watching know what the fuck we're talking about. But you cannot like the old World of Darkness ruined a lot of really great in my opinion, some really great kind of settings or like ideas, like Malkavians. Like originally, a Malkavian sounds like a fantastic idea for a
people,
for
you should
a
explain
character
that,
class.
Hugo. You really should.
I will. A Malkavian in the original World of Darkness, old World of Darkness, a Malkavian was a vampire that there's all these different clans of vampires, and when a Malkavian is bit and infected, he develops a mental disorder. He becomes crazy, because that's the Malkavian's thing. They're all crazy, but they're all like this really weird, like crazy homeless person, like hobo-wise, you know, where they're able to like get massive insights into shit, if I recall correctly.
Was it that one vampire game, the split personality girl?
Oh yeah, that's Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah,
that
she had
Bloodlines.
Malkavian?
She was a Malkavians. Yeah.
Yeah. It was basically a dominatrix personality combined with
No, it wasn't dominatrix. It was like very businesswoman. Teresa and something Vorman. I can't remember the other girl's name.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jeanette Vorman.
Yeah.
Anyway, that like we can all agree that sounds like a great idea. The idea of like, you know, a vampire of, you know, hey, to make this character you're going to have to be crazy. Unfortunately, this was given to kids in the 1990s. And that led to there's a popular like slur, I guess, in the community called a fish milk. It's the people who think, oh, what does being crazy mean? Oh, it means lol random, I'll run up with a fish on my head and slap a stop sign 30 times.
Yeah, it's Joker if he was really retarded.
No, because Joker has wit and intelligence.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If he's retarded, he doesn't really have either. He's just like...
Right.
What?
It was very much the old style of Joker where he's like, I will turn the entire city's water supply into jelly. You know.
Or I will start a boner.
No. He did that.
What?
He did that.
What?
Oh, god damn it.
He did try turning the city's entire water supply into jelly. I'm not making that up, right hand to God.
For
Someone
what
look it up.
reason?
Commence the jiggling.
Who knows and who cares? It's the Joker in the Silver Age. But
Yeah, I was gonna say Golden Age, Silver Age was pretty much ridiculous.
Well, no, in the Golden Age, at least the Joker would be like, "We're robbing a bank," you know. But in the Silver Age, that's when you had the Comics Code Authority, when they were like, even your villains can't kill people. What? So that's where Joker turned from being a homicidal mobster back to being the cliche.
Was it Dick Tracy before then? Wasn't he killing people and stuff like that?
Dick
crazy fucking villains all over the place.
Dick Tracy was in the Golden Age, yes. Ditto the Shadow. But both of them were kind of pulp comics as opposed to... Actually, no. Dick Tracy was a newspaper comic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like 1920s America. No one gave a shit back then. Right. It was just like, oh, these special gadgets. It's kind of like the prototype.
Cue the fucking like borderline racial caricature that was his sidekick. I can't remember the kid's name for the life of me.
Wait, Dick Tracy?
Yeah, Dick Tracy. Didn't he have like a kid that looked like he was in blackface?
All I remember is a movie, and because I didn't watch. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna read fucking Dick Tracy. Like, I don't read that shit.
Well, no, I'm a comic nerd, so.
Yeah.
If you ever have the opportunity, though, you all should definitely listen to the Shadow radio play. If you ever have the opportunity, it's fucking great. But that's besides the point.
It is. We keep going off in tangents.
I know.
Well, yeah, I wanted to actually say something.
Have you fucking heard some podcasters? They never stay on topic.
I have not. I actually don't listen to podcasts normally.
Yeah. Well, I only listen to a handful. I listen to Super Best Friends Play, Giant Bomb, and the Jimquisition. So
I listen to Jimquisition.
See that one from NPR with like they're investigating this like murder or something like that?
No, the Jimquisition is this fat British guy who lives in Georgia.
Thank God for me.
Right, thank God for me. That's,
oh God.
Yeah, no, he's actually entertaining. So
I used to absolutely fucking hate Jim Sterling with a goddamn passion until it was pointed out to me, or it dawned on me that it was a persona and he didn't actually feel that way. Because if you watch one of his videos, you skim around through it, you're not going to get that immediately. So I'm like, wow, this guy's an asshole.
All of his, like, whenever he's narrating, it's, this is my opinion. When he's not narrating, it's the persona. When you see him in the bowler hat, glasses, the jacket, and the gloves, that's when he's in the persona. But
I think my opinion was poisoned by fucking Total Biscuit being an actual asshole. So I just went, oh, it's another one of them. I'm done with this.
Good.
Position looks like Jim Jones.
He does. Oh, God. Jim and Total Biscuit, if you hear this, don't blame me. Suddenly I get fucking torn apart. No! LordLicorice said that! Okay, so, alright, let's get onto the task at hand. Today we're going to be discussing a game that SweetSoulBro has, like he said when his introduction, SweetSoulBro was deeply involved in the production of...
I wrote the damn thing. For like 80% of the words that I've written were by myself. The 20% go to various people and their ideas and things like that. Right. So, but 80% was me. So
sorry, that's my bad. So either way, SweetSoulBro wrote the majority, all of it.
Well, majority, like 95%, like 80 to 90% of it.
Right.
Was my writings.
He was involved in the production of Ops and Tactics, and it's in its 4th edition right now. It has been characterized by someone on TG, and I read this the other day. What was it? A fixed version of modern D20 or D20 modern with an autism level amount of guns. I think is how someone explained it.
Yes, that is how someone explained it.
Yeah.
All
the
right.
reason-
I had an explanation, but I can't remember it. It's like months ago.
So, all right, for pretty much like how I want to do this is take us through the design process, if you don't mind. Well, I just mean
process?
like what I mean is tell us what first made you want to do this, and then how long. Like first off, how long has it been in the works?
He said 6 years, didn't he?
6 years, yeah.
6 years.
Yes.
What I mean, what made you want to do this in the first place?
This is like the perfect question for you.
Yeah, because you're about to, all right, so Monty Cook is about to get a lot of hate right now. I'm warning. Monty Cook and Monty Cook built somebody, and they're about to get a lot of hate right now.
Let me see. Is this are they the core developers?
I'm looking up who wrote this damn book. Bill Slavjek, Jeff Gruber, Rich Redmond, and Charles Ryan, as well as Monty Cook. I know he fucking worked on this game. I know he did. Are about to get a fuck ton of hate right now. So for those of you that don't know these people are writers and publishers, and well, I guess they're game designers, for Woods of the Coast. The reason the Option Tactics exists is because of a game called D20 Modern. To basically explain what D20 Modern... I'm going to try and explain what they were trying to do, and I'm going to explain what actually happened. So what they were trying to do is make a companion game to D&D 3.5, basically. They were trying to essentially make a... They're trying to make, like, hey, we want to play, like, we know 3.5, we want to play with guns and,
Can I interject in this a little bit?
What? Go.
Basically, it's just like, oh, D&D was a great game. What if we did D&D but modern? That sounds like a great idea. And
that's what.
It's kind of obvious in the title.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. That's actually it's the D20 system, and that's what happened. What they failed to do, however, is actually capture what makes a modern game good.
Right.
A modern setting game.
Yeah, well, yes. Well, game set in modern. There are also a lot of nuances and things that they did. I won't say they did it wrong because they was in 2002 and 2003, and I was 12 at the time. So.
This is something you've held in your heart for all this time. Well, this hate.
Okay, so the very first game I actually looked at, like ever, was D20 Modern.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That is like the first game I've ever exposed to was D&D.
Right.
The first game I actually went out on my own and actually looked up and investigated was D20 Modern, because I was a gun nerd, and I was like, oh, RPG with guns, cool. And it was the only one that I really heard of because I've obviously heard the Wizards of the Coast and their marketing shit.
Now that I think about it, I didn't really get into tabletop games until like 2009 or so, until I was in college, because I grew up in a hodunk fucking town. Now that I think about it, like before I started really getting into the community, I hadn't heard of any modern day style RPGs that weren't World of Darkness or Shadowrun. And Shadowrun, there's no like gun nerd.
Around the time, there wasn't really. I mean, at the time of release of D20 Modern, there wasn't, and there was maybe a few that were.
I think most of those were like, they were '80s games and stuff like that for people who were like, oh, I'm Tom Clancy and I make war games about ships in the modern era.
Right. Yeah, it was usually like it was either '80s style games or it was.
Phoenix Command.
Phoenix Command is '80s game, but
and it's not really an RPG. It's more of just like a combat simulator.
It's not really. It's basically a way to accurately as fuck simulate combat.
Yeah.
But So I started playing D20. I actually started running games D20 Modern for friends and all this stuff about when I was 18. So it's like anywhere from like end of high school, 17, 18 to I guess like when I was saving money to go to college. And about that time.
Sorry, my mom just called. I had to answer the phone.
Shit, she can wait.
Mom, I love you if you watch this.
So about that time, I started noticing all of the issues with D20 Modern.
Mm-hmm.
The very first issue I noticed, right away, actually, was the money aspect.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll explain it since I can't assume that there are people who are listening know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah. So D20 Modern, the way it handles money is instead of having to track, like bills and credit cards and let me turn this down. Bills.
I was going to say you're playing a lot of Zelda there.
No, it's my phone.
I know. Is that was Zelda, right?
No, that was Mario. You fail, sir.
Oh God. Oh God! I wasn't.
Wow! Turn in your nerd gun and badge.
I wasn't a Nintendo kid growing up. My first system I actually had was an N64. So, and I had Star Fox and a bunch of like not first party games.
Fucked up hardcore. But no. Basically.
Don't fuck Nintendo. I like them.
Basically, the way money works in D20 Modern is. Instead of having a set, instead of saying I have 4 gold or I have 100 gold or whatever, like in D&D, which is fun, it's really crazy why they didn't do this. They decided that they were going to say fuck all that and make a general, general score called a wealth score. So it's a stat. I'm gonna pull up the actual rule of that. So,
well, I think I know what you're talking about because World of Darkness has a similar thing where your how much money you have is based on a stat rather than an actual
resource dots instead of
resource dots. I know Trail of Cthulhu, which is a narrative style of Call of Cthulhu, which, by the way, fucking play it if you have the chance. But I do suggest it.
Okay. So, the wealth score is you determine a character's wealth score. You roll 2d4 and add the wealth bonus for the character's starting occupation. Plus, if applicable, the windfall feat, and I'm gonna get into that in a second.
Did fucking professions in D20 Modern even seriously matter? I can't even remember that.
They did, but it was so minor it didn't even make any.
Right? It was just flavor.
It was literally flavor because there was no.
And
again, I'll get into that. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
The wealth score, you roll 2d4, and if you have a bonus into your wealth based on your occupation, you add that, and then that's what your money is. To buy things, every object in D20 Modern has a purchase DC. Which
difficulty class.
Difficulty class, yes. So you have to roll a d20, you add your wealth score to the item. I mean, you add your wealth score to the roll, and then you see if you beat it to buy the item. That has got to be one of the most retarded things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, and this led to fuck it, I can do better.
Well, that was the first thing I noticed. The immediate second thing I noticed is how firearms are just.
Well, to be fair, in my experience with D&D, guns are literally just bows and arrows that make a bang.
Yes, that is the issue. That is the major issue.
And that is one problem I personally have when I'm homebrewing. Right. It's like I dislike the slap of label on it and call it a day. Right. Though it can work sometimes, and sometimes
no, it can't. It never works. I
don't know. Pathfinder, and I think I'm one of the few who actually believe this. Pathfinder did okay with the gunslinger. They did better than anything that was in 3.5 or 4E.
You know, I can honestly.
I do better than Pathfinder, so
yeah.
Oh,
well, no, I'm not holding it up as like a glorious beacon. I know there's issues with that class.
I'm not gonna get started on Gunslinger because I could talk about that shit all day.
Right. And
yeah. Okay, so the second thing I noticed was guns, and Miles said it made a very valid point. Basically, what they did is they took the crossbows and slightly varied the damage, and they took a hand crossbow and a regular crossbows, and they just said, "Hey, okay, it's a crossbow, it's an assault rifle with a 30-round magazine, blah 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 blah." The issue I held with this was the guns were not generic. They specifically picked out specific guns. For example, and I'm actually looking at the SRD right now. Oh yeah, you're gonna.
Well, I can just tell you that it
hold on,
the fucking armory book.
So, for example, hold on. For example, you have a Beretta 92F. Why they didn't do the FS, I don't know why, but the damage is 2d6, right?
Right. I'll take your word for it.
Hold on, no, because there's a 9mm round. A Colt Double E. Let's do something that everybody knows. A Colt 1911, right? Army gun, right? 2d6.
Army gun. Yeah. Like, I'm just imagining, like, statted in the book as Army gun.
No, it's statted as Colt M911, but
Black scary military rifle.
But yeah, so that also does 2d6. And if anybody knows, 9 versus 45, and I'm not going to get into a caliber debate here, but they are at the very, like, some people argue that, they're the same. Not exactly. They're not exactly the same. They do have different nuances between them.
If you're a gun nerd, it's as bad as Coke versus Pepsi in terms of of argument.
No. If you're a gun nerd, to put it in equivalency of a car equivalency, it's like saying Ford, Chevy, and Dodge are all the same company.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But so, what was the damage that they put for the Colt?
No, 2d6.
2d6. So it was just the only difference is what, ammo capacity, or they don't even do that.
Range and ammo capacity. That's pretty much it. And the range is like, oh wait, no, the range is the same. No, it's range and ammo capacity.
And there's nothing to my knowledge in D&D really, unless it's a special stat for armor penetration or anything like that. So.
No, they just fucking wiped all that over. That was number 3, which I'm going to get to. So armor it retains the D&D-ish.
It's you have to roll past the armor as opposed to.
Well, I mean that's not so much an issue. It's not so much an issue, but armor provides defense or armor class, which basically increases, makes it harder for you to hit. The downside is that's not how guns and armor really works.
No.
Yeah.
So,
it's like AC. Most people kind of think it out to be like, okay, I'm dodging, or it's brushing off the vest or the armor or something like that.
But bullets don't work like that.
Right. Yeah. And even then, though, I mean, with the
no armored vest I can think of just simply ricochets.
Like, just pushes the bullet away.
Yeah.
Unless you're fucking Iron Man.
Okay, so to give an example, the second best armor in the game, quote unquote, which is heavy armor, is plate mail.
Yeah. Yes, plate mail.
It's 50 pounds, but it gives you a +8 equipment bonus. So that's
That is.
But at the same time, though, I mean, even I'm not. My gun foo is obviously less than you, SweetSoulBro, and I think less than Mouse's. But to my knowledge, if I dress some motherfucker in giant plate mail and then just shoot him with a shotgun,
it's gonna go through.
The shotgun's gonna go through.
Right. Yeah. And a shotgun is a gun that sucks against armor in real life.
It's
all guns suck against.
We have armor-piercing ammo. I mean.
Well, okay, so. Shit. Okay, you're gonna get a gun lesson now. Armor is rated. Armor is rated based on what it can stop.
Right.
Light ammo, Kevlar, stuff like that generally stops handgun rounds
and shotgun rounds, right?
Yeah, and shotgun buckshot and maybe slugs.
Slugs are a different kettle of
Yeah,
fish.
rifles. It doesn't. That armor cannot stop rifle. You need hard plates for armor. The hard plates that they're talking about and that actually exist are not the thin sheet of metal of steel that a plate mail vest is made out of.
Right.
If you try to make a plate mail vest out of the armor that will stop rifle ammo, it'd be well over 300 pounds.
You would need powered armor servos to get moving in that thing.
From my understanding,
that or you end up being the ultimate warrior. I
think like the thickness that you're talking about when you're talking plate is like a maximum of 10 millimeters, and they try to make it thinner in certain areas because you don't need 10 millimeters equally.
Hi, welcome to Idea Farm. We've gotten sidetracked.
Yeah, but my point being is that none of this was representational over the world that they're trying to do. All right. Now here's the thing, some people say, okay, cool. Well, that's it's an actiony game, right? Not really, because it then goes on to have rules for like cover and concealment and stuff like that. So it's not quite a detailed gunfighter RPG.
Nor is it.
It's not like a movie style, rule.
It's not World of Darkness in a way.
There's no way you can jump through the air with 2 Uzis firing with sunglasses and a cigarette in your mouth.
But people trying to say that you can do that, they don't make any fucking sense. It doesn't happen. You know? Oh, it's a movie, but you can't do any cool movie things.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the issue. It fails at everything. It does nothing well.
I think that was my argument before. Oh my god, I wish I had what I remembered.
Then there were some other minor things like the occupations not mattering, the skills being bloated for no goddamn reason. Magic was basically a carbon copy of
it's wizard or mage.
Wizard, it's wizard, yeah. It's basically carbon copy of wizard.
Study your spells, cast the spells at the
Vancian magic. Fuck Vance. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that kind of.
Oh God, we are burning bridges left and right.
I'm sorry, but these are bad decisions. These are not good. These are not good rules. In hindsight, they do not stand the test of time. Oh, and combat is my personal favorite. So combat, basically is D&D. It is essentially the same game.
It's D&D with cell phones, I think is the best way to explain this whole setting.
D&D with cell phones. The issues with this game are that melee, I would say that melee doesn't matter, but guns are worse than melee, so.
Right.
And for the health that you get, like your character just fucking stack health. Just stack health. So you can soak a lot of hits.
We're still talking D20 Modern, right?
Yes. No, he's talking shit about his own system.
I mean, I wouldn't have put that in there. The Urban Arcana D20 Future was not necessary. D20 Future didn't make any sense. What else is there?
I have to say, when I was reading the D20 Future book, I had a lot more interest in that than D20 Modern.
D20
and even
Future
then,
makes no goddamn sense.
Even then, it wasn't really that good for me just leafing through it. Like, there was few cool ideas. I would do it if somebody pushed it on me, but generally speaking, if I wanted something good, I'd go for something else.
Yeah. Well, hold on. There's one more issue I want to speak about D20 Modern. And this is the overarching issue of all the things. All the problems that D&D 3.5 had, none of them were fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Feet bloat is still a big issue. There's very few combat options without feats. It's just not there's nothing. It's not robust enough to do much besides. Actually, there's not really much you can do in the system. So all the issues with 3.5 were transferred immediately over to this system. So,
I could actually go on a little tangent myself on this.
Let's not and save that for after.
It's part of it. It's a really deep part of it.
All right.
In the case of D&D and stuff like that, I've always had this feeling that D20 Modern, and as SSB said, it turned out that way. I kind of felt like it was more. That's how it was supposed to be. Really.
No,
Oh,
that's
it's D&D but modern.
Yeah,
Okay.
then that's awful. Then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the reason why is just that the characteristics that set up a traditional D&D campaign, effectively the dungeon crawl, is on such a different level on so many ways that it's incomparable to just even walking down the street and getting into a gunfight or something like that. It just does not fit. And the developers were like, "Oh, it just, it's basically a 20-foot room, but open. Okay, there we go. We'll just keep going with this."
Yeah.
It's
they got the subject matter wrong, rather.
completely wrong. Yeah.
So that, to summarize, pretty much explains, the big issue you had with
It was not
Modern.
what it was. It was not what it was. It did not. It failed at its alleged goal. Is my
Completely.
point.
Yeah.
That's your opinion. Just stressing that in case
It
Monty
did.
Cook listens and
But it
going,
did.
well, time to...
If you want to talk, my email is optiontactics@gmail.com. If you want to talk,
send your shit to him.
Because I stand firm in my observation.
No, that's fine. I have no familiarity.
And I say that because I have used D20 Modern extensively. I have used it for multiple games, and these things still pop up.
I have no experience with it, so that's why I'm not commenting on it.
No, I've used it before. I've actually run a semi-long campaign, and that's why I got fed up with it, because there's so like case in point.
Sounds like hell, honestly.
Case in point example. There's no way to call shot. There's no way to aim.
Right. Well,
that's a problem.
Oh no, I understand completely, but I just to get this off my chest, I had no experience with D20 Modern. I haven't played D&D since college, and there's a reason for that. The icon that I'm using right now, like looking at it, it's It's a copy of Only War and Savage Worlds Deluxe. That kind of tells you the kind of systems I like. One is like. One is very setting based, and the other one is generic and rules light. That speaks to me. But the next question I'm hoping to ask of you is, with Ops and Tactics, so you said you had the issue with, here's my problems with D&D D20 Modern, and what did you just decide? Hey, I can do better than that.
Well, originally I tried to homebrew it, and it got to the point where I had 20 pages of homebrews. So I just kind of went, you know what?
Fuck it, I can make my own system.
I'm gonna try to start from scratch, and I did. And the very first, and I still maintain old copies of. I have a copy of every single version I've ever released, and I have them so I can know and point when I released them, when they came out, and all this stuff. Blah blah blah. The 1.0 I posted on. I think it's actually an archive. It's actually archived on SupTG. The very first one. It was I think I finished. Like, I actually finished, got everything together around 2010. Right. The very first one. The first comment I believe somebody made was, "Cool. Where's the character sheet?"
Well, did you design it that you could just use the D20 Modern character sheet?
No. Actually, yeah, you probably could.
Yeah, because I'm looking, like, as we're talking, I'm browsing the sheet, and a lot of it feels, just from my experience with D&D, a lot of it feels like a lot of it looks and feels like the traditional D20 setup.
The reasoning because of that is at the heart of Ops and Tactics is D20 Modern, and I mean that in the most literal sense possible. I actually downloaded all the SRDs for D20 Modern, and I copy and pasted it, and I edited it. Yeah, so I actually did that because it was.
That's your workflow, Jesus.
Huh?
That was your workflow for that?
Yeah, the SRDs. Not the SRD like the what?
Could you define SRDs just real quickly?
The source SRD.
System reference document.
System reference document.
Okay.
Basically, it is the game with all the intellectual property removed.
All right then.
Now, hold on. Now, it was in rich text format. I remember that. So I had to copy it into what I've been using for the past 6 years, LibreOffice and OpenOffice. And I know people get I know my editors and such like that get really fucking upset. I'm the editor, but people who have tried and failed to help me edit this motherfucker have gotten upset because I've been using that, and it's not conducive to a plus 300 page document.
Oh yeah, it's
that
a
system you got. Because I
do
can
want
tell you a lot about that.
I do want to stress. I'm going to include a link below with all the stuff. It
Hey,
is
big
a
publicity.
big rule book with lots of extra, like a lot of extra
it's 300
crunchy
pages.
material.
Yeah.
That's not really big. Is that big?
300
pages is
for a homebrew system that I've seen. It's kind of big for a homebrew system.
Well, it's a system, and it's a. I want to say it's a it's a medium mechanics system, ops and tactics. That's not bad. You could get a lot worse than that. I think GURPS is 500 pages for one book.
Well, the other issue is that there's no art, so it's all text.
Yeah.
It's all text and charts. So if you're gonna read it, be prepared for.
The closest we have to art is basically tasteful types.
Yeah. If sorry, my phone started ringing again. If I got
this. Be warned, there is no art. And the reason, and people are going to ask, well, why is there no art? Because I am not an artist, and artists are expensive. And I don't want to get sued by an artist. I don't want this to get successful, or hell, I don't want this to even break even. And the artist is like, oh, you use my art, I'm going to sue you. So
that's something I wanted to ask you, actually. Just out of curiosity, are you planning on selling this eventually?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I have an idea on how to sell it. But I'm going to leave the PDFs free. So
we have talked about, that was generally my understanding of the whole situation.
So this is just, the stuff I'm going through.
I wrote this because D20 Modern sucks.
Right.
It is literally, I literally want it to be the replacement to D20 Modern.
And we had the 20-minute diatribe about that. I'm sorry, man. I just had to make that joke. But from what I'm reading here, at first you have character archetypes.
Yes, which is basically heroes.
Right.
If you're related to D20 Modern. But...
Like D20 Modern, it's stuff like, okay, you got your strong hero, you got your fast hero, you got your tough hero, you got your smart hero, et cetera, so on. And
they're all linked to one of your, what is it called? Ability scores.
Right. And that's like the closest. Just to explain for viewers, the closest analogy would be like a class, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and then you have...
Well, it's half a class.
Half a class, right.
Yeah.
Because then you also have to pick your second thing, your starting occupation.
Yes.
So you could, for example, be a smart blue-collar guy.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if that's min-maxing, but...
That's not.
Not really, no. If you really wanted to min-max, he could tell you exactly what class to get.
Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of stuff like academic, adventure, athlete, blue collar, celebrity. How do you pronounce it? Is it dilettante? I never know how to pronounce it.
Unemployed.
Unemployed is one of them. Yes. So you could be a.
Is that an option in Twilight 2013? I can't remember.
I think so.
Toilet 2013.
No, unemployed.
All right.
Like the most complicated background characters development thing I've ever seen is Twilight 2013, because literally your entire character's characteristics, their effective class, and all their abilities are literally determined by 4-year periods of, oh, what job did you have? Oh, I was SF. Oh, okay. Or I was a lawyer. Oh, you get these stats.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and generally speaking, what it turns out to be is that it seems like the 30 and 40-year-old guys are the best. Because they have so many characteristics from a long career.
So, going through after that, you also have your skills, which from the looks of it, and I mean I'm just trying to summarize it for people here who are watching. You have acrobatics, animal handling. You have what looks to be the usual, what I would call the standard D20, or actually standard RPG style skills.
Yes. Now again, those skills came from
pretty much
D20
D&D.
Modern,
Right,
from D&D and D20 Modern. Actually, more from D20 Modern. I had to condense a lot of the skills because it made no sense for them to not be like run, jump, I think it's like climb and jump and all that.
That's all acrobatic stuff.
That's all. It's all the same. Yeah, there's no reason to split it up unless you're just trying to make people spin.
I could see a reason for it, but it'd be kind of complicated to explain. And I think it's much more mechanically intensive just to do it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get to the feat list, which.
Oh, I missed the skills. You go back to skills because there is a major thing about skills.
Speechcraft.
Okay, so
stuff your face, man.
No, I had some. There is the crafting skill, the crafting in this game.
Right, has subsects, right?
Yes. The crafting in this game has been fucking overhauled to death.
LL, are you back yet?
Yeah, I'm just here.
Okay. Then you've been
Didn't say anything.
I know. I've been just listening to SweetSoulBro because it's interesting.
So the crafting in this game has been overhauled like completely. It is. You can. First of all, you can make pretty much any weapon in the game. Like any melee weapon, you can do your own upgrades if you want to. You can make bombs. You can make poisons. You can make health items. You can make all that yourself if you take the the necessary crafting ability. There's some stuff you can't make that requires like a laboratory because crafting generally assumes you're just one dude with maybe a home laboratory or a home like a home machinist shop or whatever.
You're not going to be making napalm. Well, technically
you can make napalm, yeah.
You can't make VX nerve gas in your kitchen.
Yes, you can.
I don't want to know.
But you can't make like an iPod.
You can't make computer parts. Yeah.
Right.
Or,
all right.
You can even argue that
I'm kind of scared the way you answered. Like you can't make napalm. I stopped because I realized you can, but you can't make VX nerve gas in your thing. Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can.
So the next
Shimirokyo did that during the Tokyo, I think it was the subway attack. Yeah.
Was he the fucking crazy cult dude who was telling people to prepare?
No, it was an entire cult of a Japanese doomsday cult or something like that, right?
Right.
And they made VX nerve gas, and they tried attacking a Tokyo subway by popping these shopping bags filled with VX nerve gas with a pokey stick and then running away.
I bet
that was literally their attack, and it failed miserably.
Someone should animate that bit. I'm just trying to imagine that.
Yeah.
So SweetSoulBro, how would you emulate that in your in your system?
Okay, so first of all, here's a bit of an issue. You have to buy. I guess you can get a plastic bag for free, so that's not right.
Just go to a Price Chopper or a fucking Walmart.
You would fill it up with VX nerve gas, and then you would take a knife or something, and you pop it, and then you run away. But it wouldn't really disseminate anywhere because the nerve gas is probably because it's heavier than air. I believe just fucking drop to the ground.
You've killed a bunch of rats and cockroaches. Good job.
If that.
Would you use a D4 stick or a D6 knife?
I would probably use a survival knife. No, you're right. To be honest with you, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't even try. This is just a failure.
I'm sorry. The idea of putting nerve gas into a fucking bag that screams something Mouse would come up with. in a fucking that's no offense. That sounds like something you would do in World of Darkness, Mouse. I'm sorry.
That's a very PC plan, I have to say.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man.
Insane non-player character would do that.
So they're crafting. And in the armory book, there's actually a very detailed way on making your own firearms.
Right.
In the advanced arms book, there's a very detailed way of making your own plasma weapons and laser weapons. But I'll get into that when we get to that book.
So if we ever do Fallout, we have a system.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you ever wanted to play AR-15 dress up, he's got the system.
Yeah. The AR, you can actually do like lowers and uppers and such like that in Armory, and but again, I'll get to that. But we're just gonna go through the books, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna like give everyone the intro. Like, this is what is in the core book. There's more available. Go check it out.
We're just gonna talk about every book because.
Oh no, dude, motherfucker! We're already an hour in, and we're just getting into what's in the first book.
Just getting started.
I want to do that.
Maybe we'll do Ops and Tactics Revisited. Who the fuck knows?
Why can't we talk about it now?
Let's talk about it now.
Well, okay.
Okay. So back to the core rulebook.
Let's actually move on to feats, because you have a big fucking list.
I have a fuck ton of feats. So I'm looking at D20 Modern. Feats and combat go hand in hand. When I thought about feats, I didn't think about, okay, this is awesome stuff you can do. I thought about, how can you break the rules in the game? Because that's what a feat really is. It's not and I think especially in 3.5, I'm not sure if they fixed that in 4 and 5, but and 3.5 and 3.0 and D20 Modern, they looked at feats as if, they are ways to do things, instead of being ways to break things you can already do or do things better. So that's one of the reasons that there are so many feats. There's branches, and generally the way I did, like for example, weapons feats and stuff like that, you have an intro feat which gives you proficiency or a base bonus to all weapons under that umbrella. For example, simple weapons like knives and bats and shit. Everybody knows there's no reason you have to take a feat to know how to use a goddamn bat. Swing it, grip tight, and swing the motherfucker. It's easy. Anybody in the modern world knows how to use a baseball bat.
Hell, they even know how to use a fucking knife.
Knives are easy. Yeah, knives are pretty easy to use as well. So it's not really something that you have to put
towards enemy.
Yeah, it's not something you have to put a feat tax on, but you can take the simple weapon specialist feat, and hey, now I can I can fight slightly better with a knife and bats and all that. Then you go into specific subsets of weapons like clubs or knives or what have you, and then you specifically go and you may get to pick a specific one that you can focus in. Now, what that does is that allows you to have a I use knives, okay? Like I use knives, right? But you're not locked out of using all simple weapons, using awesome weapons.
Which is kind of the problem I have with D&D as well, because generally speaking, in D&D and by extension D20 Modern, you pretty much have to specialize in your one weapon. Otherwise, it's not even that you're min-maxing.
You're awful at everything else.
Exactly.
There's no buffer zone at all. It's just you know how to use a long sword and that's it.
Yeah. And in pretty much real life, you were kind of expected to be at least competent. There are stories about people for competitions just basically bashing the fuck out of each other with swords and stuff. They would bring in 6 weapons. 6 weapons, just, okay, we're going to go start kicking this guy's ass, but not kill him. Okay, 6 weapons, mace, blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah, so, I wanted to, the other thing I had the issue with, especially when guns, is that there's no options in D20 Modern for guns. I'm trying to think, you may have I think there's really 3 kinds of attacks you can do. Besides the single shot, you can double tap, which you need a feat for. You can you can double tap. You can burst fire, which you need a feat for, and you can auto fire, which you need a feat for. When I say you need a feat for it, I mean you literally physically cannot do that without having the feat. If you try and use a weapon, if you try and use auto fire or burst fire or what have you without the feat, then you won't. It says in the book you shoot 1 round and all the other bullets are wasted.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did not like that.
That's the sort of shit which made me immediately hate D20 Modern.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense.
Especially the auto fire rule, the whole idea that you're just basically throwing down effectively a bullet trap.
Well, I got no problem. I use that. I got no problem with that. I had a problem that you can't pick up a gun and do that.
Yeah.
Even if you do what's it called? Not bonuses, but like minuses and such, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you do that, then
That's fine.
that's fine. But you can't if you need a feat just to do anything, then why? Like it makes the base character very useless.
Yeah.
There's no options in it. The melee is basically I hit you, you hit me. So I wanted to add that as well, and I'm gonna get into that when it comes to combat. But yeah, there are a lot of options, a lot of feats, a lot of things. Toughness doesn't suck anymore, which is one of my most proud things I can say, because toughness in pretty much every D&D game has been one of the worst feats possible. So I've tried to eliminate any newbie traps.
Now, from what my experience with role-playing games is definitely a lot of stuff from Pinnacle has been my experience. Deadlands and Savage Worlds are the systems I have the most experience with. I do like how they handle feats in those systems, where feats are just extra stuff you can get. They're not needed, but they help.
Yes.
But they're always balanced by hindrances as well, which I don't know if you have those in this system. It doesn't.
No, that's dumb. Yeah. The reason being is because it's a combat system. You don't need hindrances. There's already enough trying to kill you as is.
Right.
The hindrance is you don't get to pick, and you don't get to pick the other feats.
Well, yeah, with Savage Worlds, they do it as Savage Worlds is designed to be a generic system with a pulp kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the cover of the book, you can see it tilted sideways on the icon there, or at least the people watching can. It's supposed to look like it walked out of a 1950s comic book store. So,
yeah.
So, equipment is probably the thing you've put the most work into, from what I understand.
Yeah, equipment.
Because I'm looking at the ranged weapons list right about.
Are you looking at the one in the core rule book?
Yeah, it's 166. You have
That's the small one.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12,
Are you
13.
counting guns or what?
Yeah, I'm counting. Yeah, I'm counting just holdout pistols, motherfucker.
Oh.
Yeah, and he used to have the whole entire
I had the entire
guns
list of guns in that book, but
right, and that's holdout handguns versus backup handguns versus full-size handguns versus. What I'm trying to convey to my listeners is, if you're into guns and you want, and you're like, say, Shadowrun's not scratching that itch for guns.
Shadowrun has tiny amount of guns. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying it's compared to most systems, its guns are a little bit more in depth compared to most systems.
Really?
Compared to most, yeah.
To be fair, I didn't go as in depth with each gun like Shadowrun did, but I sure got a fuck ton more of them.
Well, you even, no offense, you even are willing to go. If I understand the 7-in-1 thing, it's. I assume that means 7 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
But I just list the magazine. There is a notation that says that, hey, each, these guns can hold another round in the chamber if they have a magazine. There are some guns in Armory that actually can't do that because they're open bolt. And we'll get to that when we get to Armory, which I'm probably gonna do today because it's taking me like 5 minutes.
Right.
So equipment. Majority of Ops and Tactics is equipment, and I'm not just in weapons. There's like bags and boxes and magazines and like.
It's all the things people tend not to think about. Like, they don't think, when you buy a gun, you think, I'll just buy ammo. You don't think, oh, I have to also buy additional magazines.
Well, what kind of ammunition would you like? Would you like hollow points? Would you like regular lead ammunition? Would you like frangibles? Would you like blanks?
Are frangibles like glassers, or is that different?
Like glass or safety slugs, yeah.
Okay. To explain, glassers are like rounds that are meant to pop in people, from what I understand, right?
Well, glasses are basically, they are a round that is basically a copper shell, and it's got birdshot in it. So when somebody, it immediately explodes. If it hits something hard, it won't punch through it because it breaks up whatever it hits.
Like if I understand correctly, they were originally designed the things to shoot in like airplanes.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
true.
Right.
Basically,
The
air
downside,
marshal.
the downside is that they're very shitty. They're not very good.
But you don't have to worry about shooting a hole in the airplane and explosive decompression.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's also things like holsters and like the one thing, and I've noticed, at least with a lot of RPGs, that they don't have a very big holster selection.
No.
It's usually like belt holster or conceal holster, and that's it. They don't talk about, what kind of conceal holster. Is it a ankle holster? Is it, in the waistband?
Right.
I've noticed that with a lot of them. Pocket, it goes in the pocket, because that does matter.
Right.
At least I think it matters.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I mean, because this is like I've talked to a couple people who either like systems and all that, and a lot of them that are really big gun nuts haven't put a quarter of the thought into what you obviously did. Because I'm looking through, and you have like 4 or 5 different variations of the MP5 in here.
Yes.
You have like the H&K MP5A5, the the H&K MP5
MP5A4.
Right.
You
You have the UMP45, which ostensibly is a different gun. So okay, fair enough.
It's a cheaper version of the MP40. It's a basic cheaper version. Originally, they were supposed to be basically HK's 45 ACP, a submachine gun. But what it really is the cheap version of the MP5.
Right. Wait, the UMP45?
Yeah, the UMP45 comes in 9 and 40 as well.
See, I know it as the 45 caliber, which is like the modern day Thompson.
It comes in all 3.
Most every game does it in 45 ACP.
Right,
because they don't
Yeah.
And that's something I'm like. I mean, I looked through this before we talked about it, but it's now suddenly dawning on me. No wonder you thanked K in your comments section, because holy shit, you're naming guns I've never heard of. And I'm pretty knowledgeable on guns.
Like,
I mean,
what have you
like
never
the Rossi Rio Grande,
the
fucking
rifle. Yeah.
the Mossberg 505 Youth, which to be fair,
That
those are hunting shotguns, and I don't really know hunting shit that well.
Yeah.
The fucking Beretta Silver Pigeon.
Oh, that's the the Beretta Silver Pigeon is a double barrel shotgun.
Right.
It's actually a very nice double barrel shotgun. It's what
Right.
it's what some rich motherfucker makes like 2-3 million a year.
Right.
He goes on his safaris, or not safaris, but goes on his hunts in Mario, England with something like that.
Right. The Century Arms Draco. Wait, I think I know that. That's the AK.
Draco is an AK pistol. Yeah.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah.
I mean, not to mention, I'm going to give you love because you put the Sterling in there, and I'm
Oh yeah, I understand.
What-
But the stand is in Armory.
right.
We'll
Well,
talk.
like, just to get on a side note, I really love guns, but I fully love that late 1800s to maybe before the 1960s, that like golden age of guns, where you had 2 world wars just supplying money and willpower behind build
And
guns.
don't forget the tail end of the Wild West.
And
Yeah.
the tail end of
John
the Wild
Moses
West
Browning
as
and
well.
stuff.
I mean, God, even though it's such a shitty gun, every time I see a volcanic, I smile just a little bit.
I didn't actually start the volcanic because I didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
heard of it, but I never.
I'm going to ask: is there a book for Wild West style stuff for westerns?
Wild West style what?
Like Western guns that would be an
Armory.
All right, awesome.
Which is why. Okay.
Jesus.
Yes, equipment. So besides the whole gun thing, because
Right.
I want to save that for Armory.
All right.
I just I noticed that there's just a lot missing in your average RPG when it comes to equipment. D20 Modern again. This is one thing that really pissed me off about D20 Modern. D20 Modern basically had, as far as upgrades go, you can get a suppressor, or you can get an extra magazine.
And that's about it.
That's not about it. That's it. There's nothing else. That's it. You can get a suppressor. Sorry, you get a suppressor, a laser, or a flashlight. That's it.
Yeah, that's
or
not
a
exactly-
scope, but it's like standard or electro-optical.
Right,
It's
it's-
not.
What?
Add
You said
pl-
optics,
add
right?
pl-
Electrical optical, which is basically an electrical scope.
What?
It's there. The weapon
is so
accessories is
retarded.
just it's just a paltry. Just
Part of that too is that the electrical optical thing. I have never heard of a single optic being called that, except for maybe in Halo, and
yeah,
it was
remember,
not
the game-
real.
The game was
Yeah.
made in 2002. So
It's
they
like what?
probably-
Oh, you put a security camera on top of the fucking rifle and called it electrical optical?
Probably, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so
Um,
there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough equipment for me, and the upgrades were the one that really bothered me to death because to go off the equipment, Offense Tactics has designed the guns around the equipment as well. So every firearm, every gun in this game has a set of slots for the frame, for tactical rails, for such and such. You can customize your weapon as you see fit. If you want to have, let's say you want to take a regular old M4 or an M16, right? If you want to put a flashlight and a laser on it, that's cool. If you want to put a taser on it instead, if you want to have a taser launcher instead, if you want to have a foregrip, or if you want to have a heavier barrel, you want to have all that shit. Like, you can mix and match and do whatever you want. It's not you're not stuck with just, hey, whatever. Also, suppressors have been reworked to actually have a rating. You can't just take a suppressor from a handgun and just put it, because the suppressor rating is based on how much damage dice it does, and I'm going to get into that really quick. Guns actually do damage based on what caliber they are.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if a 45 caliber gun will do this damage, and
What?
you have like somewhere in the book a stat that says 45 cal damage is this.
Yeah, he has an entire table, which is actually a really nice way to be efficient, where it's just a table of all the calibers and stuff like that with the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't even think he put the damage die next to the pistols in the
I
tables.
didn't, because there was no space, because I had run out of space. On
I think
the page.
And you even include like melee weapons in here, because I'm seeing paintball guns and
Yes.
well, not melee. That's not a melee weapon, but like not guns is what I
Yes.
mean.
Yeah.
You have pepper spray. You have.
I think paintball guns. Don't you have like a setup where they have pepper spray balls for the?
Yeah. From what I
So-
see here, it does.
Yeah, you can do simulations and shit.
Oh,
So-
motherfucker! You have a ballistic knife.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not
And
gonna.
I have to give a shout out to the Dutch motherfucker, Haas, who helped me with the bows, because the bows are pretty. It used to be that they were just like recurve or compound, but now they're actually weights and shit.
Yeah, because we didn't know bows, and he's from the Netherlands.
and apparently they do bows in the Netherlands. So
Oh yeah, well, because
Yeah.
it's Europe.
yeah. So
Wait.
yeah, so he helped out a lot with bows and crossbows and such like
Yeah,
that.
especially the assault bows.
How do you know how many attachments your gun can have? Where does it? Because I'm looking at the gun stats, and I'm looking for like.
Just look at the gun stat. You see how to say upgrade points?
I think so.
There's a space that says upgrade points, and it says like the upgrade points are the frame, the barrel, and you have one tactical.
Oh, okay. So I could like for the MG3, just taking that out.
Machine
For an
gun?
example, yeah. So you can either put something on the frame or
an
something on the
updated
barrel,
MG3.
and that's
No,
it.
you can put something on the the frame can hold 3 upgrades, I believe. The barrel can hold 3 upgrades, and the
The one I'm
Yeah.
looking at just says frame and barrel. It doesn't say
yeah.
how
So
many.
you can attach things to the frame, or you can attach things to the barrel.
Okay.
However, there is a frame upgrade that gives you tactical upgrades. So
Okay then.
So Picatinny rail, basically.
yes,
Yeah.
you basically weld a rail onto it.
Okay.
Oh,
Is there upgrades to?
Jeez,
Here's an
buddy.
upgrade that lets you put more upgrades on.
Yeah,
like-
that's the one I just
that's
said.
the
Oh,
entire
right.
idea behind Picatinny rails, really.
all right then.
It's like, yo, you want to add things to your gun, but without having to weld them on? Well, here you go.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not gonna lie here. Part of me, since I saw the MG3, part of me really wants to go Far Cry 4 and just like get into a little gyrocopter with an MG3 now. Sorry.
Just gun down people.
Just gun down bandit tribes. Just now.
Also, I forgot about the slingshot.
Sounds like fucking Arma 3 to me at this point.
Right. The next thing I'm hoping to ask, I mean, just to segue into the thing, because you said you wanted to discuss combat. So
Yes.
why don't you run through, like, say an example, like go through an example combat with us. How does the system work?
Let's say you have let's do an arena thing. You have two people on the side of one person. Because it's just two of them, you know, who goes first doesn't really matter, but they both roll initiative to see who goes first.
Right.
And then
what's your initiative based off of?
Your initiative is based off of your dexterity's agility modifier. Because I did split though, and I forgot.
Oh yeah.
I did split though. I split up strength and dexterity, so dexterity isn't win all the time.
Which we'll get to min-maxing D20 modern. Just buff your fucking dex.
Yeah, just buff dex. That's how you win D20 modern. So strength is broken up by focus and power. Focus is how accurate you can actually hit like a thing with your fist, which is basically it has domain over your attack bonuses. Power is how hard you hit. So your power determines your damage with melee weapons. So you can, and let's say you have an 18 to work with, which an 18 would give you a +4 total bonus. You can put a +3 of that into your focus and +1 into your power, or you can do 2 and 2, or 1 and 4, or 0 and 0. It works the same way with negatives, but you know you can So
I have to say that's one of the things that I really love the most about Oats. That whole little setup there.
Yeah, the same thing goes for dexterity. There is marksmanship and there is agility. Marksmanship covers your ability to aim. Aim ranged weapons and such like that. Your agility covers your defense, your reflex saving throw, and all that. Besides those, the ability scores work the same like you would in D&D or what have you. But going back to combat, you get a certain amount of points based on your race. They're called combat points. Every action in this game costs combat points. Everything costs combat points. You can spend them points however you like, as long as you have points left to spend. So if you wanted to run you want to use all 15 combat points to fucking run, crazy whatever, then do so. If you wanted to just shoot, then do so. There are bonuses for doing things like for example, in combat, if you run for every 10 feet beyond the first 30 feet you move, you get a +1 to defense for that round because you are running, and it's harder to hit somebody who is running. So everybody gets combat points. You do whatever. Cover's important. That's the major thing about combat. That's the major thing different, because anybody who's listened to this and knows Dungeons and Dragons, they're going to be like, hey, why can't I do a standard? Where are the standard actions? Why are my standard actions gone? What do I do?
Right.
Because that didn't really work when you're talking about
guns.
Yeah,
right.
and a gunfight, generally speaking, you don't have standard action.
Well, I've heard this from one of my playtesters friends, whatever. He said that the issue he has with D&D is that it's not granular enough, and he likes this system even for D&D because this system allows a little bit more choice, because if as a designer you're not pigeonholed to say, oh, this attack is a standard action, when usually, like for example, casting a spell and swinging a sword are both standard actions. One is significantly more powerful than the other.
Right.
So,
and you mentioned maybe we should talk a little bit real quickly about how damage is handled.
Yes, damage.
Like all the guns are based on a specific caliber size.
Yes.
So say I have a 45 caliber handgun. It doesn't matter which one, just because it's a 45, so damage is already, that.
45 ACP, yes.
Right. I shoot someone in the stomach, say, or say I shoot someone and I hit.
Okay.
How do you determine the damage? Just a brief overview.
I'm going to go from outside to in. So first, you need to determine if he's wearing armor, because armor primarily stops against. Armor primarily provides damage reduction, not your attack, not bonuses to defense. Only if you take the proficiencies do you get the bonuses to defense. So there is no proficiency requirement at all to wear any size of armor. However, armor does, the the more proficient you are, the better you can move, the better, the less penalties that happens, and you get the bonus to defense that the armor provides.
Right.
Yeah.
They've been significantly reduced compared to D20 Modern, mind you. But okay, you get hit, you shoot somebody, and their armor gets hit. So the armor takes off as much DR as it can, and it passes it on to you, which is your extended hit points. Because there are 2 levels of hit points in this game. Your extended hit points are what is traditionally considered hit points in D&D, like, oh, I glanced it off, or oh, whatever. I also like to include morale or focus or whatever, adrenaline, all that jazz. Core hit points is your health. Your extended hit points are determined by your archetype.
Right.
And your archetype and your con bonus, your constitution bonus.
So
your
say.
I'm
sorry. Go on. No, go on.
Your core hit points are determined by your constitution score and any bonuses or negatives that your race provides you with.
Okay then. And that the race thing is included, assuming you like the usual traditional fantasy style shit, right?
Yeah, we have like a sort of contemporary setting where we have magic races and stuff showing up.
Well, it's really just 3 races. I cut out the other 2.
Really?
Right. But
yeah, it's just besides humans, elves, orcs, and dwarfs. I cut out halflings because.
You don't want Lord of the Rings with MP40s. So
well, it's not just that, but they were.
Well, maybe you don't.
In every
LL, he doesn't talk much, but when he does,
in every playtest of what we considered elves, this is my playtest of it. They're just not elves of halflings. They're just no benefits. We could not get benefits for being small. Like being small sucks a lot. Because you can't, you're basically a good chunk of the weapon. Like even elves, for example, elves can't use they take a minus when they use large weapons. Can't use huge weapons. If you're a halfling, then a small weapon to you is considered a medium.
Right.
So it's and you can't even touch large weapons. So that's all the rifles and shit are just It's not. There's no benefit.
Pretty much down to SMGs and maybe a PDW.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which, don't get me wrong. Now I'm imagining a halfling all swatted up.
That's the point of his setting. It's just basically orcs were supposed to be the big bruisers who were tacticaled up with all the massive desert eagles and shit like that.
Yeah. So yeah. But we'll talk about that next. I want to finish the combat first.
Oh yeah.
Before I get distracted. So everything costs points. If you get shot, that's what we're talking about. You get shot. So after it goes through your extended hit points, if there's any, if it kills all your extended hit points, then it immediately goes to core hit points. Now, criticals in this game, if you have a critical, then it ignores all that bullshit and it goes straight to your core hit points.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take if you get shot, let's say you get a critical, it goes straight to core damage. If you're not wearing armor, you start to bleed to death. If you take a certain amount of damage, but the reason I did this is because it makes the game very dangerous. Because you can run out there and get shot in the face, and that's all she wrote. Because your average damage, let's say your con score of 10 is average, which means that the core hit point score average for a human is 12 points. Well, a 9mm does 2d6, which has an average of 7, a maximum of 12, and a minimum of 2.
Right.
If you take the average, which is 7 rounds of your core hit points, that's over half of your core hit point health.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's...
And that's just like a single shot. If you're burst firing it, or if you're double tapping it, then that increases the damage dice, increases the damage threshold, and you might be dying now.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is, if you fuck up, you can end up looking like that partner did in the McBain sketches on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
just like
much.
get Mendoza. Mendoza. Sorry, I apologize. I've made this awkward.
Wow. You stopped all conversation for a good 5 seconds.
I did.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's comparable of, it's like when you're playing XCOM, you don't want to send your one guy out in the middle with no cover.
Yeah, it is a lot like XCOM. I would have to say.
Cover is very important. Concealment is very important.
Quick yes or no question. Does cover have values for armor?
Yes. Well, no. Cover adds value for your defense.
Okay then. So and it's depending on what the cover is made of, how big the cover is. It depends, right?
Yes. Yeah.
For example, a meter high wall that is made of solid steel is different than a full wall made of plaster or something.
Well,
Yeah.
if it's made, the thing is that if it's made of plastic, they can't see you, then they can't aim at you. So.
But they
Yeah.
could go, I know he's behind that wall, shoot through the wall.
You can. That's what concealment is. You can
Right.
guess, but there's a 50-50 chance you might miss.
It's
Right.
playing.
But if I
Battleship.
If you do the Terminator thing where you see the guy run behind the wall, just shoot the wall in front of where he's going, and maybe you'll hit
you can
him.
pretty much do that.
Yeah, you can pretty much do that, but it's not a guaranteed hit.
Right.
You can't game the system like that.
Oh yeah, no.
In fact,
I'm just saying, like, most systems don't do that. Most systems assume
Well, yeah.
he's behind a wall, you can't shoot him.
Because they don't
Yes,
know
you
that
can.
drywall is absolute dick all.
Right. That's the one thing I have to say I love the most on a slight sidetrack of why I love the first Terminator so much. Because the guns in that movie are really terrifyingly, like, accurately done, I would say. The only thing that wasn't is maybe what's it called? Shit.
It's Terminator.
Well, I mean the guns he was carrying.
Yeah,
Is
which Terminator?
Right. The first one, the original.
Okay, yeah.
Which one is it where he has the minigun and he's shooting all the cop cars?
Terminator 2.
That's Terminator 2, yeah.
In the first one, the biggest gun he has is that South African assault rifle. That looks like it's a Galil and an AK-47 fucked and had a baby. I know the Galil is
The
based off
R4. The R4. Yeah.
That's the one, yeah. Or no, it wasn't an R4. It was an AR. It was an AR-18.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's not much of a AK baby.
I think I fucked it up though. Is
Yeah.
what I'm
That's
saying.
whatever.
and
You really don't have time to be this autistic.
Right. The other gun he had was a
How much time do we have?
I'm thinking every episode's going to be about 2 hours, something like that.
Okay, cool. In that case, and I have, we should get back to the
Right.
stuff
We
at
have
hand.
another half hour. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay.
We have like 23 minutes, and if we
Awesome.
go over, well, fuck it.
You're burning the minutes.
Motherfucker!
minutes, man.
All right. Well, actually, yeah. Let's move on to the next thing I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
Let's move on to because the other thing you have is the usual game mastering section.
That was hastily put together,
Right.
and
Well,
I don't like it.
I would assume if you're deep enough into homebrewing, you know the basic stuff for game mastering. So,
It's one of those things that every book has.
right.
You'd be
The-
surprised.
The
I'm
o-
actually in the process of writing a GM compendium and a player resource book.
Oh, that's good.
if
Like
you-
just
I
maybe
can
just a
get a
thing.
lot of ideas.
Well,
Maybe-
the thing like more so like how to play games, like how to play this game, like
Yeah.
Right.
what you should think about when enrolling the character. Not like, hey, step 1, step 2, but
Right.
just like what's good, what's bad. The thought process behind some this or that and the other. If you
Yeah.
want to run this kind of game, what kind of variant rules you should use. If you want to run that kind of game, what kind of variant you should rules.
Yeah, you were talking about that with the introduction that you wanted to write a while ago, didn't
Yeah.
you? So
Yeah.
you kind of turned that into a massive. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a small book, maybe about 60 pages.
Right. Yeah, I could give you a lot of work with that, but I think in general, the RPG market has been really underserved in trying to explain how exactly do you run a campaign as a GM?
How
What
exactly
does
do you
it look
roll a
like?
character? Like, what makes a character a character? That's one of
Right.
the issues I've seen most often.
Yeah.
I've noticed most of the better GMs I've played with tend to be English majors, because 9 times out of 10 the people I play, or like people who are in the writing community, because sure they may not get the rules may not be ardently followed,
but they know what the difference between a flat character and a round one is.
Right. They know how to make you invested in characters.
They also understand pacing and stuff like that.
Whereas I've played with GMs that know the rules fervently, but I'm bored as fuck because they're going, "Oh, look, the skeleton Lich Lord is stealing the MacGuffin." Woo! That's why I don't play D&D anymore, because every fucking D&D campaign I've been in, it's evil wizard or lich or dragon stole MacGuffin. What's the MacGuffin? Who the fuck cares? It's the MacGuffin, and you need to stop him.
Yeah, you got to go get it back.
Right.
What if the lich is the MacGuffin and he stole himself?
Oh my god.
See.
Then you can't necessarily steal him back from himself because he's already got.
You know, the sad part is
that
the show invests you so much better than just the MacGuffin alone.
Yeah.
Like, well, he stole himself. What the fuck we do?
See,
nothing.
You can make a very tasty meal from that pile of shit that is that setup, but most of the players most of the GMs I've been under haven't. However, I do have a GM that I'm currently playing under, who I've done a handful of campaigns with, who has been very good about it. I have a small group side set that none of what I say applies to them, because every game we've played under them has been good. Some of them have been short, but they've been good. But the next thing you wanted to discuss Armory. So
Armory, yeah.
That's the
it's a book of guns.
Right, and it's almost as big as the core rule book.
It's now the upsides and the downsides to Armory are the same. It's a big book of guns. The downsides are it's a big book of guns and not much else.
Well, you do include a preamble with manufacturers and history.
Yeah,
nice little addition.
And there are little things in between, like, hey, gun history spotlight, the RPG 7, or like, stuff that people know from movies, like RPG, like them. Who play COD know about that shit. So I just want to include a little bit of history.
But they don't know anything behind it. They just know the icon, effectively.
It shoots a rocket and it kills a person within such and such radius.
Actually, you know what?
Oh, it's a fucking ship.
I'm a giant first-person shooter nerd. I don't know the history at all behind the RPG 7. So to me, that could actually oh hey.
This is where my autism comes into play.
It's quite possibly one of the best. It's quite possibly one of the most proliferant anti-tank.
I know that. I'm saying I don't know the history behind it. I don't know the name of the guy who made it. I don't know what year it was introduced. I just know Russian rocket launcher given to every third-rate army in the world.
I don't know who made it. Russia made it. That's
right. Russia made it. Because the RPG 7 doesn't have the mystique the M16 or the AK-47 had, where you can you could post the history of Eugene Stoner and is it Anton or Andre?
You mean Kalashnikov?
Yeah.
No, it's Mikhail Kalashnikov.
Oh my god, I thought it was an A.
Son of a bitch!
Oh god, I have to turn in my K badge right now.
You son of a bitch.
That was pretty incorrect.
You fucking suka!
But yeah, so the RPG, what makes it so proliferant is that it is cheap. The launcher is cheap as fuck, and the rockets are cheap.
Yeah, it's just a fucking steel tube. Not even like hard steel.
But it's a steel tube with a battery-powered igniter.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's like,
I
don't think it's that hard, is it? It's just like they took some decent.
Well, the
steel.
downside is that the rockets don't have a disarming what's it called? So you can actually tap if you drop a rocket like on a rock.
Oh
On
right.
the ship, it'll blow up.
Isn't that like why half the Insurgent made like IEDs are literally just an RPG ready to bash into a rock?
Yeah,
I should make fun of that. I'm not. I'm just trying to.
Well, the
because
Japanese did the same thing, but with artillery shells.
Holy fuck! You even include shit from Kel-Tec.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I?
No, I'm just saying. I'm shocked. I'm surprised by that.
There's only one other system that I've ever seen that actually includes anything from Kel-Tec, and that would be Spyrun.
Right.
Spycraft version 1.
Right. Oh, Spycraft is one of my friends is a huge Spycraft fan, so I've never played it. I've heard good things about it.
It's D20 modern, but better.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
It's
from
basically D20 modern,
from what
better.
the first hour of this episode is, pretty much it could be summed up as anything is better than D20 modern. Just no offense, you ranted about it for
You have to work to be worse. I'd have to say like you probably have to go to that crazy psychotic white what the fuck? You remember RaHoWa, right?
Oh
so-
God.
Yeah, you'd have to go to some psychotic
shit.
white supremacist pastor trying to make a system to get worse than D20 modern.
Yeah, D20 modern is possibly one of the worst modern systems ever created.
Except for RaHoWa or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't. RaHoWa doesn't even have a full set of rules. The guy was a fucking moron.
I'm curious if SweetSoulBro, do you know what the fuck he's talking
I
about?
have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. That's why
Okay,
I don't know either.
basically,
I've
I'm
read
just
a
gonna.
ton of systems, but I never read that.
I'm just going to let you know. I saw it once on a bad, tabletop RPG website where it didn't include a link to it. It just explained what it was and let you know why it's bad. RaHoWa
Basically-
stands for Racial Holy War.
Hold that one.
Yeah. To give you an idea of how bad it
Why?
is.
For
Imagine
what
if a bunch of...
purpose?
I can tell you why. But
For what purpose?
I'll
Is
give
it,
you
bas-
the
is it
reason
basically just, hold on, is it basically just Fedora Core?
Oh no, this was before
Fedoras.
Fedoras.
It's worse. It's more than fedoras. It's like Michigan militia.
So it's like, is it basically wank about you are a white person?
Yes,
You have
yes.
all these wonderful, you have all these wonderful racial traits and stuff, and you fight these fucking.
Basically, every race has like basically kobolds in D&D, how they have a shtick. It's basically what they did with races, but more racist.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's literally a game, SweetSoulBro. It's literally a game where the enemy stat is okay. First, you have Jews, and then it's a list of fucking racial slurs about Jews. Then you have.
Levels
They
of
don't
race
even say
slurs.
blacks. They just go straight to, and then you have, So right hand to God, I am not making any of this up.
Yeah. Basically,
I wish I could say I was.
Basically, all the other races are kind of like they're just treated
Inferior.
like combat.
They're
Yeah.
inferior.
They
No, they're
literally,
treated like kobold. They're
it's
just
literally
something to kill.
It's literally Kobold ate your baby tier of racial
Yeah.
racial representation. It's
Yeah.
literally like you know how on K they always have the Lay Happy Merchant image?
Yeah.
Worse than that in terms of like characterization.
That is probably like level 3 for a Jewish enemy.
Right?
It's like the kids from Red Dawn were out in the woods playing fucking LARPing, basically.
Right. But at least the kids in Red Dawn were just, we want to kill communists. Not,
Yeah.
fuck
We
it,
wanna-
there's a
we
bunch of
wanna-
spics over there. Let's kill them.
Wolverines!
But yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell you the reasoning basically behind it if you want. But
I know the reason is white supremacists.
Right.
No, it's
Yeah,
more
that's
than that.
that's
In the
that's
back
the
in
only
1980
reason it was made. It was white supremacists thought. Some white supremacists thought, oh, these kids really like them D&Ds.
Oh,
Maybe
God,
I
it's
can-
one of it's
and the
one of
pastor
those.
made it. He made it back in the 80s. He's like, let's make an RPG called RaHoWa.
And here's the thing, though. It's so bad, I can't even imagine legitimate racist people, playing it. I can imagine, a Ku Klux Klan guy who just happens to be really into RPGs looks at it and just goes, no, I cannot cope with that, sir.
Well, then again, I mean, the average person who does that stuff, like Johnny Rebel, is not great music.
No,
seriously. Like it's if it was good, I could excuse it, but it's not. It's just bad.
I want an excuse to say the N-word.
Yeah.
It's just bad. Like it's not. Yeah, it's like basically that was it. But
right. So armory.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We got sidetracked.
last
By the
5
way,
minutes.
SweetSoulBro, I apologize if I offended you by saying that word.
Armory.
No, not armory. It wasn't armory. I said.
You'd love if you said armory. Come on, let's do this.
God damn it! Don't you know how that offends me?
You know, SweetSoulBro, you'd probably offend him more if you confuse clips and mags.
Yeah.
Oh.
Clips.
Well, I mean, you use clips to load mags.
Oh yeah. Yes, you do. You do. I'm not gonna lie. That's part. My favorite thing to do is to go. Oh hey, hand me another clip. Clip? What the fuck are you talking about? And my character's holding an SKS.
I will throw you an M16 stripper clip if you say that to me.
No, I want to do this once where if I play an RPG with someone who's really into that stuff, hey, hand me a clip. Excuse me, it's pronounced maggot, and he looks at me and I'm holding an SKS or something, or a Lee Enfield or something loaded with stripper clips, just so I could like do that shit-eating
Just get
smirk.
a VZ58. They both.
Right.
Which is fucking beautiful. God,
that's that Romanian AK-47.
No,
right?
No, it's a Czechoslovakian assault rifle. Not really assault rifle, but it's a.
Uh-oh, he cut.
Huh? SweetSoulBro? Soul?
He gone.
Oh God, what do we do?
Oh no, he's about to talk about the Czechoslovakian assault rifles.
Mouse was gonna get hard over it.
Ah! Wait, what?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
It's like
So much
Atlanta's
worry
acting
and
up
all
on his
that.
connection, then.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, hey, he's back.
Hey.
He's back.
I'm back. What did I?
We talked so much shit about you, Soul.
Wow.
You have no idea.
I'm
Shit.
back.
We also found out that Splatterpunk is a white supremacist.
That's cool.
I've been accused of that before.
Really?
You've been accused of
I've gotten accused of that because in high school in junior and high school I read a lot of books about the the Waffen SS, the World War II, specifically the Eastern Front, and one of my classmates thought I was a Nazi for some reason because of it.
Oh my god, that is almost as bad as the time that
But here's the thing, though. I was such a fucking loser in high school that I was getting legitimately angry, and I was playing right in their hands because they would say it would piss me off, and they'd laugh. That's how it worked. I was easily trolled when I was in high school, is what I'm saying.
High school?
I graduated in 2007, so.
Jesus.
Yeah,
you're not that much younger than me, then.
Yeah, I'm 26, so.
I'm 25, so you're older than me.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, Armory.
Now that I feel like the old fuck.
Armory.
Yeah, you're talking, I'm fucking 31 in a month. Yes.
Lord, you're late for carousel. What's wrong with you?
Oh. Hold on, let me get my walker.
So, Armory.
Armory's a big book of guns.
I thought you said a big black book of guns.
It's not. It's actually mostly white, but.
Well, it could be the little black book of guns with just the saucy numbers in there for all the good stuff.
It's only 300 pages.
You're talking my language there, LL.
But yeah, no, it's basically it's mostly a big chart. It's a big book of charts that you use to chart. It's more so used as a reference.
Right.
It does have a few new ammo types. It does have a few new.
Didn't we make the armory because you found a new?
We made the armory
guns, and then well, shit. One, people don't like us having the entire book of guns in the core book because they get weird ideas about it, and two, it's getting big.
Yeah.
No offense. I've been scrolling down for the last minute, and I'm only a quarter of the way through.
Use the
Go
bookmarks.
faster. God.
Oh, I want to say that now, but I wish I would have said it when it first started. Use the goddamn bookmarks if you're gonna read this system.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I spent a long ass time with those fucking bookmarks in. I use them extensively. The books are pretty much unnavigatable without them. That's the reason that there is no. That's the reason that there is no. What's the word I'm looking for?
Table
There's
of contents?
no table of contents anymore because of the books.
Yeah.
When I get it to print, there will be a table of contents. I can promise you that. But until then, use the goddamn bookmarks.
Wasn't there a massive problem trying to get the table of contents to work nicely with your setup?
Yeah, it didn't want to work at all, and I just said, "Fuck it." I had to do it manually. I did it manually for a few versions, and I went, "This is dumb. Nobody cares." So I'm not gonna do it.
So basically, your new table of contents is the bookmarks.
Yes, well, it's always been a bookmark. The bookmarks have always been there.
Well, you're using it in this case to do that.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
Yeah.
let's see. We covered Armory and we covered the core rulebook. I guess we're almost at 2 hours, so I don't want to just like slam through all the other 2 major books that I want to get to.
And then all the
No,
little
I know. You know what? For
Yeah.
our first episode, this went swimmingly. I'm surprised how well this worked out.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Quite. Yes.
Quite so loud.
SweetSoulBro, go get us some tea, please.
Fuck you. Where's my goddamn shotgun? Hold on.
I don't know. You don't have a table of contents. It'll be a little difficult to find.
Oh no, I found it. I used the goddamn bookmarks.
Oh shit!
No!
Shit.
So,
Well, you
yeah,
can't screw up.
anyway,
Don't know.
we're going to return in the future, guys, with more episodes on this, new games.
Since apparently that this is going to be a more than a single thing,
No.
I want to talk next about Magic, and I mean Magic in Oat, and then in other games as well. So
Yeah,
We
I had
definitely
seen
will.
those in the supply drops, I noticed there were entries
Oh, wow.
for Magic, and I wanted to ask how those fit in with the kind of rules reality heavy of the rest of Oats. So I
You
was
know,
we'll
wondering-
talk. You want to hear about it now? Or you want to wait to like a fucking month to hear about it?
Let's.
I think I can talk or you can talk our ears off about it. So we'll save that one. But I am
Right.
Yeah,
interested.
save that as a new thing.
Right,
I'm
and
actually kind of surprised LL wants to be into oats. That's
right.
That's new
I'm actually. I think I just got to say, guys. We'll definitely be back with more episodes. I think I had fun doing this. It sounds
Yeah,
like you guys
yeah.
had fun doing it.
I think we had a little trouble like talking like around each
Staying
other.
on target.
But that's
too,
half
but,
the
like-
fun. That's half the fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back with more episodes, guys. We'll probably any topics you want to suggest. Hit
Just-
me.
If you
Yeah,
like
you
shit
could
like
focus
this,
more
hit
on
the
World
like
of
button,
Darkness.
motherfucker. If you like shit like this, hit that motherfucking like button.
Exactly. Like and subscribe. Listen to the SweetSoulBro. He speaks wisdom. Yeah, like, comment,
No, I speak
subscribe.
English. What are you talking about?
Huh?
I speak English.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We hope you enjoy this. We will be back in the future with more episodes.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Have a good